And welcome to the Justin Hamilton podcast. On today's episode, I have author and screenwriter Michael Okon, who is one of my favorite online viewing experiences. He is really prevalent for me on Instagram. He's got sites on YouTube and TikTok, of course, but it's been Instagram where I discovered him, and he does these amazing breakdowns of movies, scenes from films. He finds things in them that I haven't seen before, or he articulates things that maybe I've thought, but I haven't been able to kind of quite find the words for it. And, I say to him in this interview that part of what I really enjoy about what he does is he's excited for other people to pitch ideas to him as well. So we'd never met before. This is not only, an interview, but it's a conversation. It is. He has a curiosity that goes along with his intellect. And it felt like, I don't know about you when you listen to this, but it kind of felt like, man, if these guys lived in the same city, they'd be catching up and discussing films all the time. He's also an award-winning author as well. If you go to his website, which is michaelokon.com, Michael Okon is Okon, so michaelokon.com. You'll find out all about him, the novels that he's written. He kind of talks about some of the novels and shows what books he's written in this podcast. But they're all high concept with multi layers, and it's interesting listening to him because he at his fundamental kind of core, he takes what is a very good elevator pitch. He takes simple ideas, and I don't mean simple as in easy, but I mean he simplifies them so you understand it immediately, and then from there he layers and layers and layers and adds subtext, etc. So this is a really fun chat, and you're a fan of this podcast and what my friends and I are trying to do here. And that's try not to be cynical, try not to be a bummer about things, try not to shit on things. We're trying to shine a light on the best in art and entertainment, and trying to elevate what we see, what we find, and that's what Michael's doing as well. That's kind of his whole sort of goal with everything he's producing. So he discusses that as well. But I think you'll be really into this, and I don't doubt for a second that you'll find him on the social media platforms that appeal to you, and then from there, like me, suddenly find yourself rewatching a film, having watched all his little clips, or at least some of them, to kind of go, oh yeah, I can kind of see what he's talking about there. Oh, I didn't see that before. Oh, anyway, it's a fun chat. Just before we bring him in, quick thank you to everyone who signed up to the newsletter that came out on Tuesday. And there's a whole lot of new people over at Patreon, over at Substack, and there's a few people that have signed up for the YouTube page. Thank you to all of you for taking the time to go and check those sites out. As always, whatever appeals to you is what I would suggest to lean into with what I produce. If you like the writing side more, Substack will be the place to find it. If you like the audio side of things, Patreon will be the best place to go. And if you want some video stuff and see. And to be honest, I was about to say, see a slightly larger version of me. For those of you who listen to the Wuthering Heights podcast, I've dropped a bit of weight. So now I go back and I watch those clips and I go, oh, why didn't I wait 18 months before I filmed that? But there you go. Anyway, whichever site or whatever I produce that appeals to you most, I kind of broke them up so you'd be able to choose, and it would make it easier for you rather than feeling like you have to sign up for everything in the one place. As you know, I've gone completely autonomous. I've gone back to my 90s indie roots. So anything you do that supports me in these different places, it goes directly to me. It's not going through any filter. It's not going through any corporation. It's not going through any management who's taking a cut of it. It all goes to what I'm doing and supports the work that's done here. Times are tough though, and I don't doubt that for a second. So if you want to support, just listening to the podcast is great. And if you have time, maybe a top review on whatever platform you listen to, or word of mouth. Word of mouth is the best. You know the people that are into this kind of stuff, so feel free to pass it on. Okay, let's bring in Michael. I'll swing by at the end as always, but I hope you really enjoy this. He is excellent talent, and we have a really great chat. So let's bring in Michael Hogan. They say that the algorithm is a bad thing on social media, but this is one of the rare times, Michael, that I can say thank you, algorithm, because it threw you my way, and I have to say I have devoured so many of your posts, specifically on Instagram. And is it kind of wild to think that, you just have this idea, you start posting stuff, and then suddenly you're talking to some nerd on the other side of the world who's
Oh my God. Don't disparage yourself, Justin. You're a legend, dude. I mean, those two Batmans behind you are everything.
yes.
I see an 89 Batman, I think. One of the Batman, But no, listen, I am the power of social media.
Yeah.
The people I've met. And I got to tell you, I've only been posting on Instagram for about 45 days. This,
Right.
I've had an Instagram account for 100 years, right? We all signed up when it started. I post a little bit here and there, but it wasn't until I started doing these film deep dives that the most incredible people of film lovers, of celebrities, of actors, of directors, of producers, of actresses, editors, film critics. Can I curse on here?
Absolutely.
Fucking assholes. Every every for every caliber, film buffs, people who are so much smarter than I am, they all come together and we all talk about exactly what I want to talk about, which
Right.
is
Yeah.
the art of film. And it's I'm approaching it with this spiritual ideology, this spiritual connection, if you will, to how film can mirror our daily lives.
Yeah. I reckon the thing that sets you apart from other people who post is you always ask for comments underneath, and
Always.
I'm always curious to have a look. And then this is genuinely the apart from the insights that you give, my favorite thing about you is if someone says, "Hey, I saw this in this scene," your comment is obvious. You're like, "Holy shit, I haven't seen that before." You're just as excited to have something pointed out.
100%. Listen, I'm not a guru.
Mm,
I don't say that I know everything. Um, I am pretty well versed in film, but it doesn't mean I'm right. And that's the beauty of art. Art is subjective. I
mm,
can look at a piece of art and go, you know, I see something of a Kabbalistic structure in this piece of art. Let's say, in, a Kubrick film. And
mm,
someone's going to turn around and go, I see something about Christianity."
mm.
Well, I'm not right. That person's not right, but we're both right because we
Yeah.
both have an opinion. I would never in a million years disparage someone else's opinion over art. And I want people to comment because I want to learn from people too, where someone will say something and I'll go, "My God, I never noticed that aspect of the film." And I want to learn more about that. I want to
Mm,
incorporate about that. For some reason, Justin, we stopped talking about movies. I,
mm,
I I don't know why. I don't know where that conversation went, but on all my social media for the last 10 years, no one's talking about films anymore.
mm.
Everyone's talking about how bad things are. Everyone's talking about politics. Everyone's talking about world events, but we stopped talking about movies. And what happened was my brother started reading tarot. He loves tarot, so he's reading tarot on TikTok, and he got 134,000 followers on TikTok within a year,
Right.
just sitting and reading tarot and being spiritual and all that. And he's like, get on the horn, put your phone in front of your face and talk like you would, like you'd be pitching a movie, because I pitch movies.
Yeah.
So I literally turned on my phone, in September of 2025, and I got on. I started talking about Jaws and what Jaws meant to me.
Mm.
I got like 5,000, views in an hour. And I was like, oh man, people are craving film again. And then I went into The Godfather, The Dark Knight, and I started talking about the movies that shaped me. And I'm not a critic.
Mm,
I will never tell you if a movie's good or bad because there are dozens of movies that I've spoken about that I saw once and I'm never going to see again.
mm,
But I'm not going to critique a film because I see how hard it is to make a piece of art,
mm.
to actually go from concept to screenplay to production to premiere.
Yeah.
And it is so difficult. Who the hell am I to shit on someone else's work? Even if that film didn't resonate with me, I still want to find something good
Y-
about it. A shot, a
Yeah.
scene, the dialogue. Even if I wasn't like, listen, I'm not going to watch that movie again. And it's no offense to the filmmakers, but you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. I can't relate to people who walk out of a film. I'll stick to the very end because there might just be something that happens in the final scene that recalibrates how I feel about the movie. And so I want to give it every opportunity, even if I'm not really into it, to see if something happens, or at least I find, you know what, that movie didn't really work for me, but
Right.
I kind of like that character's denouement at the end, or
Exactly.
something.
Exactly. You don't listen, I, there's certain art pieces, and I do like art. There's certain art pieces that I don't like modern art.
Mm,
It's not my thing.
mm,
It could be someone else's thing, but I've been to modern art museums and I will look at modern art pieces and I can understand it. I can appreciate the beauty, but I'm not going to go back to an art museum, a modern art museum. Take me to the Renaissance, take me to an esoteric art building. I'm
yeah.
all in. That stuff is, but you know what? A family member doesn't like that stuff, but it doesn't mean I'm right.
Yeah.
You understand what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
that's what art is. It's
Yeah.
subjective. There's supposed to be a million different angles if it's good.
Yeah. Yeah.
If it's really good.
Yeah, and it's fun to like th- in the modern era. There seems to be, if someone has a different opinion, it's an attack. But it's like, no, no, I'm just seeing something from a different angle, and can't we kind of share that at the same time?
We can. The problem is when you think you're right. That's
Yeah.
where the issue is. There are movies, again, I didn't like, but if you liked it, I'm not
Mm,
going to hate you for that.
yeah.
And I'm trying to kind of bridge that gap by saying, okay, well, you really liked that movie. It wasn't my thing, but I could appreciate why you liked it.
Mm,
I don't, and the problem is everything is so divisive today that I'm trying to bridge that gap of divisiveness. I won't reply to any comment on my videos about politics.
hmm.
I won't talk about class. I won't talk about, obviously if it's in the film, I could talk about it. I
Yeah.
won't talk about current events. I can't tell you how many times the newsreel is trying to make it into my feed, and
Mm,
and everyone's like, do you think this was the guy who was doing the bad stuff, or do you think this represents this president of this country? And I won't give it 1 second thought. As soon as I see a name in my comments, I scroll right past it. It
yeah.
doesn't mean it doesn't mean I'm not political. It
Mm,
doesn't mean that I don't vote. It doesn't mean that I have an opinion on the matter, but
mm,
that's not my channel. My channel is talking about film, and everyone is right until they bring in, the divisive politics.
yeah.
And I always find it funny when people go, well, you're wrong. You know, you're wrong. And I just say to them, you very well could be right.
Yeah.
But I never said I was right.
Yeah. This is just what I saw.
This is what I saw. This
Yeah.
is an interesting concept. Let's have a discussion about it.
Yeah.
You
You
know,
know,
it's
there's something interesting in, what you were saying about people not talking about movies, and it's a little bit the same with TV, where it feels like things have become checklists rather than discussing what you've experienced. So it's like I've been at tables where it's like, hey, have you seen Breaking Bad? Yeah, 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 I've seen Breaking Bad. Have you seen The Sopranos? Oh yeah, I've seen The Sopranos. Oh yeah, did you ever watch 30 Rock? Yeah, I watched 30 Rock. And never at any point do you stop and discuss what you've seen. And
it's an interesting it's an interesting concept.
yeah,
It's very, very interesting. And I will say I get a lot of requests to do deep dives into The Sopranos and
right.
Breaking Bad and um Game of Thrones. Everyone's talking about the newer shows like Severance or The
Yeah,
Studio. And I politely tell them, and this is the absolute truth, I don't watch TV.
yeah,
My whole life. I did, I did watch Game of Thrones
Yeah.
after it was over, but I was busy writing when Game of Thrones was going on live every Sunday night, the 1 hour episode. I waited till it was over. I do like fantasy. I like dark fantasy.
Mm.
And I put on Game of Thrones. I watched it twice within a 2 or 3 year time frame. I loved it, but there's other shows that everyone's like, you got to do Breaking Bad. It's just not my thing.
Yeah.
You want to talk about The Godfather? I'm
Yeah.
in. You want
Yeah.
to talk about Gone with the Wind? I'm in. You want to talk about Dawn of the Dead?
Yeah.
I'm in. Television never, ever, ever resonated with me.
Yeah.
I did watch the sitcoms, I was a big 80s kid, so I did
Yeah.
watch Home Improvement, The Simpsons, and but I'm not going to do deep dives on that. My channel, Movie Magic Michael, is
Yeah.
about film.
Yeah. And it's great as well. I was looking at your website, and you've written a lot of genre novels, and I'm interested to know where the interest from genre comes. Specifically, I've had a lot of people who have seen Sinners kind of after it was at the cinema, and a lot of people have complained to me, I was really enjoying it until it turned into a vampire film.
Mm.
And I find that to be a funny critique because, well, there's something supernatural right from the beginning. And also, uh, if like the movie does so many other things, it's African American mythology, it's
Yep.
blues mythology, it's
Yep.
talking about being other and bringing in the Irish. And you kind of bring all of that stuff up in the conversation. And people go, yeah, 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 yeah," as if, yeah, that's really easy. And but to me, genre is often, when it's used perfectly, it's a vehicle to get all these other ideas across to a broader audience. And I was wondering how genre works for you.
Oh man, that's an amazing question. And this could be like a three-prong attack because I definitely want to talk about Sinners.
Yeah.
Um, Genre for me, really, my first love has always been film, right? They used to call me the movie man growing up because I love the idea, and tastes change, right?
Yeah.
The Goonies was my number one film.
Yeah.
In the 80s when I was growing up, Goonies, Back to the Future,
Yeah.
Gremlins, The Lost Boys, Ferris Bueller, those films raised me
Yeah.
and got my imagination stirring. And then obviously, you get to the 90s and there's Jurassic Park and The Matrix, and your taste changes.
Mm.
So when I sit down to write, for me, it's always from a genre film.
Mm.
And I would say, and I really mean this, Steven Spielberg.
Yeah.
Spielberg has been my biggest inspiration for the stuff that I've written. And, Guillermo del Toro was a huge inspiration for one of the newer books I've written, Dragged Down Deep. It's a cryptozoology, Hamptons techno thriller about this creature who's killing a small town in the Hamptons, and this cryptozoologist has to go back and kill the creature, right? And there's
Right.
this, he's really the creature was killed by the father. There's a secret government. So I marry genres and I kind of put them together. And I do believe, and I'm very, very spiritual. I'm not religious. I'm
Mm.
spiritual. Spirituality to me is when I'm writing, I'm pulling the information from somewhere else.
Yeah.
Call it my experiences my entire life of seeing Goonies in the theater, of seeing Gremlins in the theater, of seeing Empire Strikes Back for the first time in my living room when I had the flu when I was 7 years old. The idea is that you're pulling these memories, these unconscious memories onto the paper, and you're building a story. I want to say that I'm standing on the giants of people like Spielberg, of
Mm.
people like Martin Scorsese. I did a book called Witches Protection Program,
Yeah.
and it's Goodfellas, but with witches.
Yeah. Great.
It's a great story. It's literally Goodfellas, but with witches. So
Yeah.
what I do is I marry the stuff that I'm interested in.
Yeah.
I am obsessed with Martin Scorsese. I've never not liked a thing he's done. So I took the opening of The Departed, I took the spine of Goodfellas, and I took the idea of Hocus Pocus,
Yes.
and I and
Right.
I and I married it all together of these two factions of witches
Yeah.
going at it in modern day New York City. And it's being read now by a few studios. They're interested. They and I got to tell you, I was doing this a long time, but it wasn't until this guy, this producer, this mega producer in Hollywood, his name is Sid Ganis, and he was a family friend. And Sid Ganis said to me, I was a kid and I was writing screenplays as a kid.
Yeah.
And he goes, Michael, I gave him a screenplay. I was in high school. I gave him a script. And he goes, it was like a cross between like Casino and like, like a spiritual casino and old school. Right. So it was like a mashup of that about a guy that goes on this hot streak in Vegas and he gets in bed with the mob. And it morphed into my book, Poker Geist. I'm not selling anything here, but it morphed
Yeah.
into my book, Poker Geist.
Yeah.
So it went from craps to poker because that's how my taste changed. But the idea is that like Sid Ganis told me, he goes, Michael, give me the same thing, but make it completely different. Because I was giving him what I wanted. And he goes, take your favorite movie
Yeah.
and then mash it the fuck up.
Right.
Marry it with another genre.
Yeah.
Take take Jurassic Park and turn it into monsters, and that's my book, Monsterland. You
Yeah.
take
Right.
you take Jurassic Park and you make a theme park with werewolves, vampires, and zombies, and you got Monsterland. So I marry my favorite filmmakers and I create my own worlds when I'm writing. And I always write the script first to kind of get that beat sheet going, to get like that spine of the book. And then after the script is done, I sit down and I write the film.
Yeah.
I write the book.
Yeah.
And listen, when the studios are approaching me, especially now with what's going on with my social media,
Yeah.
studios and agents are approaching me and they're saying, "Give me everything you got. Give me everything you got." And it's, I have the script and I have the book. So
Yeah.
I'm covered on both sides.
Mate, we sound like we've had kind of similar upbringings, especially the mashing together of ideas. Because I remember as a kid, I wanted to be a writer from a young age as well. And I can kind of remember the first long form story that I wrote, which was probably grade 3 or 4. And essentially, if you look back on it, it's Boba Fett in Raiders of the Lost Ark.
There you go. There you go.
And that's how the
There you
kind
go.
of imagination
That's
as a kid works, right?
Justin, that is a phenomenal idea. I would put that on paper and pitch it to Lucasfilm. That's a phenomenal idea. A bounty hunter in Raiders of the Lost Ark. Love it.
Yeah, yeah.
Love it.
The when did when you started writing as a kid, when did it kind of did you know that you could aim to make a living from it, or were you encouraged by your family, or did you?
Well, my family's been very supportive over everything I've done, and they
Yeah.
always knew that writing was, I do have a day job, and that day job, there's transitions with that day job, but I do have a day job, but the writing, the scripts, the books, the social media has kind of taken over my life. That's kind of
Mm,
become a full-time job. So what happened was, my family's always been supportive. To me, this is going to sound nuts. I never wrote for money.
mm,
I loved the idea of telling a story.
mm.
And if something ever came of it, it's great.
Yes.
I always looked at writing like diet. You don't go on a diet to lose weight. You go on a diet to regain your health. That's
Yes.
how I looked at it.
Yeah.
So, you cut out the junk, you cut out the sugars, and you cut out the garbage food, and you eat, lean meats and vegetables. And I'm not a doctor, so I'm not promoting any diets here, but I'm telling you what worked for me.
Yeah.
But the idea is that like you go on a diet and your bloods are better and your
Mm.
cholesterol is better and your triglycerides are better and you're feeling better. You have less brain fog. And on top of that, you lost 40 pounds.
Mm.
You're
Yeah.
going, oh man, I lost the weight too, but I'm also healthy. So to me, it's the same concept with writing. I never wrote to be famous.
Mm.
Maybe there was like a few moments in high school where I was going to say, I'm going to write the script in him. It's going to be the next Jurassic Park or something. I
Yeah.
never wrote to be famous. I never wrote for the big payday. If it came, that's a bonus.
Mm.
But for me, writing has always been just putting your ideas down for the next generation, whether
Yeah.
whether they see it or not.
Yeah.
To me, I feel like first of all, it's therapeutic.
Yes.
I don't know how you feel about therapy. I mean, like, I love reading about therapy and learning about self-help. The idea that you're sitting down and you're not talking to your spouse,
Mm.
you're not dealing with the kids and the school, and everyone's in bed and everyone's asleep. And that's how I write, that after a long day of working and grinding and posting on social media and coming up with ideas for movies and scripts and dealing with the day job too,
Mm.
you sit at night and instead of sitting and watching nothing or eating a box of junk, I open my laptop and I start writing a script.
Yeah.
I don't know if this script is ever going to turn any money into anything, but the idea that you're decompressing and you're kind of connecting with the universe on
Yeah.
a subconscious level that you're saying, you know, I'm not thinking about what happened today. I'm not thinking about what my mother-in-law said at dinner. I'm not thinking about, why my buddies went to play golf and they didn't include me. Just coming up with little things here and there. None of that happened, but like you don't worry about the day because you're so absorbed because it
Mm.
feels like this is going to sound really strange, but you're dealing with imaginary friends on paper.
Yes.
These characters become a part of you.
Mm.
And when I finished this Monsterland series, I finished this book. It was a 4-book series. Again, I'm not trying to promote, but it's Monsterland, Monsterland Reanimated, Monsterland Below, Monsterland Above. And when I finished the series and I had to close it and I had to wrap it up, I bawled my eyes out.
Yes.
I was sitting there and I said, the end. And I go, it's over. It's done. This was an 18-year project, a 20-year
Ye-
project.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
You've
it's like
lived with it.
you lived with Wyatt and Keisha and
Yeah.
Jade and Melvin and the vampires and the werewolves. And you lived with these characters in your head, and then they go away, and it's like they feel a part of you as much as a family member would. And
Mm.
then you got to say goodbye. Like I'm getting choked up now. You got to say goodbye, but you know what? You got to go on to the next project. So,
Mm.
so to me, I feel like writing is therapy, and I encourage, even if you're not a good writer, anybody can be a good writer,
Mm.
but you got to write.
Yes, yeah. You do have to write, and it's something that I think a lot of writers feel that it's something that you have to do regardless of outcome. Man, I can not relate any more to what you just said. I've got a manuscript that's out, being shopped around at the moment.
Good luck,
But
man. Good
thank
luck.
you. But there was a point about two-thirds of the way through this manuscript where my lead character, he kept having things come up that he had to keep pushing against. And then, it's hard to explain to people, but sometimes things happen to your character that you weren't expecting. And I
1,000%.
and I had something small happen to him that made me laugh while I was writing it. And then I sat back and I visibly had the thought, all right, that's enough. Time to build you back up. And then by the end of that, writing that last page, I was crying as I was writing it because the character had reached a sense of catharsis,
Yes.
and like as you said, it's like therapy. In the process, you reach a form of catharsis as well.
1,000%. I learned more writing my characters
Yeah.
than I could have read any self-help book. And I'm a self-help junkie. I
Mm,
love self-help. I love esoteric studies. It's so fascinating to me of what life is like beyond what school has taught us, of
yeah.
what university has taught us, that you can go and find your own way and go, huh, that's a really interesting point. I never saw it like that. What do
Mm.
you write? I know the show's about me right now, but what do you write?
So I would say the manuscript. So I'm a stand-up comedian, so that's kind of like my day job. But so I'm a storyteller in form in that regard. The
Wow.
manuscript, the one that I've got at the moment, is kind of in that subliminal space where it is the main character has he's a comedian who's been on the road for a number of years raising money for his dead friend's widow and children, and he's really close to getting his goal, and he's just been going from gig to gig, and then two things happen. One is a young man comes up to him and tells him that his mum died and he's the father, and on the flip side, he keeps meeting this strange guy in these little towns where he's doing gigs, and they keep
Okay.
having these philosophical chats. But every time he leaves that town, a weird murder has occurred or a weird suicide.
Wow. I dig it, man. I dig
Yeah.
it a lot. It's a cool story.
So it's I can relate so much to what you're saying because in some ways it's I'm probably melding uh the Coen brothers and David Lynch, or do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah.
your influences are there within a story that is fictional but personal.
100%.
Yeah,
That's a great story, man. I wish you luck with it. You have an agent that's shopping it around.
I have someone at the moment. Yeah, so
Love it, dude.
but like I've got a few, like the compulsion to write is that's what it is, isn't it? And it's I've got a few things kind of floating around, so hopefully this will uh, open the market to more of that getting out there.
My manager, who's a legend in the industry, has told me this industry, this creative entertainment industry, is not for the people who don't do well with rejection.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's where stand-up
Uh,
comedy comes in handy because there's a lot of,
I got to tell
especially
you,
early on.
Justin, I have always, my entire life, have always wanted to be a stand-up comedian. So I give you such props, big props, dude. I love comedy. I have been known to be very fun. I'm not, I'm not that guy who's going, I'm funny too. But like I have such respect for what you do. It is I look at what comedians do and I go, I wanted to do that. But it just that was like third or fourth down on the career bucket list,
Yeah.
like what I want to do. So you tour over the world or you just stay where you are?
I've performed over in the States and the UK, and
It's
been lucky
phenomenal.
enough to perform in New Zealand, and I performed in Afghanistan,
Oh my God.
which was pretty cool. Yeah,
Love it,
yeah.
man.
So, but post COVID, I've been very much Australia bound, as it were. But also the interests have
I
kind of
get it.
changed. Like
Oh, 100%.
wanting to kind of write different things because one of the things that I like about writing manuscripts, etc., is that you can be surreal and you can play with ambiguity, where
Yes.
you kind of can't play with ambiguity with stand up. You can't go knock knock, who's there? What do you think?
Right. Right.
So those areas are a little bit more interesting to me. So that's what I want to dig into,
Love it, man.
and people reading your stuff and interpreting it. Like I think it's exciting when I've written plays where someone's come up to me and said, "Hey, I really liked it. It really said this, this, and this," and you sit there and you go, "Did it?" And then you go back and you look and you go, "Oh, yeah, I guess it did."
Right, right. That's very, very cool. My uncle Kevin, was a stand-up comedian for a little bit. He's blind. He's 100% blind, but he
Right.
always wanted to be a stand-up, and he opened for Larry David
Oh, wow.
100 years ago. I mean, I don't think I was even born. And Larry David had an episode in Seinfeld, where they wrote in this blind comedian Hornick, and
Yeah.
that's my uncle Kevin is Kevin Hornick,
Yeah.
and Larry David, wrote him into the Seinfeld show, and Kevin's like, I made it, I'm a comedian, but it's on the TV show Seinfeld. So that was like, we have a thing for comedians, my family.
Yeah.
We love, you know, Patton Oswalt, all these
Yeah.
guys, but times have changed. It's not the comedy's different now.
Yeah.
And I wish it would come back to what it was in the 80s and 90s. Who's your number one comedian? Who is your biggest inspiration?
Like if I'm really going to delve into it, it would be Robin Williams because
Oh yeah.
I didn't know what stand-up comedy was, but I bought this live at the Met on vinyl, and where you had to flip it over because the routine faded out and then faded back in,
Love it.
and that was the first time that I was like, okay, this is comedy, but
Right.
it was to me it was just Robin Williams performing. So I think everything comes from there.
100%. I'm a Carlin guy. I'm
Oh
a George
yeah,
I'm a George Carlin guy.
yeah,
Born and bred George Carlin. I mean, Mel Brooks, George Carlin, you know, comedy needs to make a massive comeback in
yeah,
film, even TV. We need to bring back comedy, and I do focus on a lot of comedies, but a lot of them are, people love the bigger stuff, the deeper shit. They love the Eyes Wide Shut, The Shining,
yeah,
The Godfather, Full Metal Jacket, Jaws, Lord of the Rings. People love the deeper stuff, and I'll pepper in a comedy here and there, like Caddyshack.
yeah,
Back to School, the good stuff. I want to jump back real quick. You mentioned something about Sinners before. We were
yes,
talking about how Sinners, the G, and I will not tell you if I liked or disliked Sinners, but I
mm,
will tell you that the genius of the film. I'm very big into esoteric traditions. I love that stuff. It
mm,
fascinates me of people making deals with the devil, and they realize
yeah,
that there really was no devil, and you're making a pact with your own shadow. All this psychological shit that I talk about on my channel.
mm,
But the brilliance of Sinners was, there was this guy named Robert Johnson.
Yes.
I don't know if you know the story.
Yes. Sold his soul.
So so Robert Johnson was trying to play the guitar in this blues bar, and he sucked. So and I'm botching this. If you want to look at it, have the viewers go and look at it. Go do your own research. I'm paraphrasing here,
Yeah.
but Robert Johnson was this shitty guitarist in the South, and he was a young guy. I think he was like 20, 22. I know he passed away at 23. So what happened is that he went to the crossroads
Mm.
and he made a deal with the devil, and the devil taught him the blues. And then Robert Johnson went back to that bar. And again, don't take this is not gospel,
Mm.
but he went back to this bar and he shredded the guitar. He created the blues. And because of Robert Johnson, there's a Jimmy Page. Because
Mm.
of Robert Johnson, there's a BB King. I'm a
Mm.
big
Yeah.
music guy. Love music. I go movies, then music, and then TV as
Yeah.
like my three, movies, obviously writing and scripts, and then music.
Yeah.
Music is so important to everything I do.
Yeah.
And Robert Johnson went back, and I have his album on Apple, on my Apple account. He created what we listen to today, rock and roll.
Mm.
And he eventually, I believe, he got murdered or whatever. He got unalived. I don't know what you're allowed to say on here.
Mm.
But Sinners brilliantly recreated that.
Yes. Yes.
That you wanted to see what happened to this kind of nerdy bluesman who was it was Smoke and Stack's cousin. I forget his
Yeah.
name, but he was this nerdy, and he came face to face with the devil.
Yeah.
And so they turned it to vampires, and it was a brilliant concept the way they were able to translate such an amazing fable of how the blues was born
Mm.
into into a vampire horror movie.
Yeah. And then,
You know,
and then Preacher Boy, the fact that he grows older and is played by Buddy Guy. And you're like
yep,
the lineage is all there right in front of you if you want to pick up on it.
100%,
Yeah.
100%.
Seeing it at IMAX as well. I remember I was lucky enough to go to a preview, and I don't talk in movies. Like I'll watch it and then discuss it afterwards. But I nearly turned around to my friend in the moment where time and space coalesces as Preacher Boy is singing, and the past and the future are all melding together to create one musical
Oh
track,
yeah.
and the place catches on fire. And even now the hairs on my arms are standing up thinking about
Yeah.
that first time I experienced it, and I had to fight the urge to grab my friend and go, "Are you fucking watching this?" Like I couldn't
It,
believe it was such a big swing.
it's a pretty powerful it was a powerful movement in film. We could talk like politically wise of like, did it deserve 16 nominations? Is it on par with Gone with the Wind? Is it on
Mm,
par with Titanic?
mm,
That remains to be seen. A lot of people don't think so. I'm not going to comment on that. But the
mm,
idea that it was an original film,
mm.
I have a lot of respect for anyone that has the guts to go and submit something original to the studio system and say, we need a story about two brothers who buy a barn and bring the blues to life, because that's what the subtext is. What's
Yeah.
the elevator pitch? Couple of brothers get stuck in a barn with a group of family and friends, and they get eaten by vampires, right?
Mm,
That's the elevator pitch. But really the subtext of Sinners is, it's the birth of the blues. And it's
mm,
what you're willing to sacrifice to see the future move forward. That's
mm,
what I feel that Sinners is about. And it's a very genre bending concept. Everyone goes, it's a lot like From Dusk Till Dawn. And it was.
mm,
It was a copy and paste from Dusk Till Dawn.
mm.
But Ryan Coogler definitely added a really cool flavor with the blues. I'm a big blues guy. So
Yeah. Like From Dusk Till Dawn's great, but From
I
Dusk Till
love,
Dawn
yeah.
is, that is the high end, hamburger, and Sinners is, a proper meal kind of thing. But it's,
I buy
uh,
that.
I want to jump into some of the stuff that I've learned from you and then,
Sure.
applied. But, I was curious when people ask me this, I'm not really sure how to answer it, but how do you add subtext to telling a story? Is it something that is there in the initial draft, or is it something that sits at the back of the head while you write the framework of the story and it reveals itself?
That's an amazing question. The word subtext has three letters in there that tell you, it answers the question for you.
Mm,
Subtext means it's below the surface.
mm,
Subconscious means it's not conscious.
mm,
So when you're writing something and you're mirroring something that's going on today, it's really prophetic. But when I wrote my book Monsterland, I wrote the book series Monsterland. I saw the rise of Donald Trump.
mm,
But I didn't know Donald Trump was going to be president. I wasn't talking about Donald Trump as the the antagonist of this film. And again, I'm not talking politics here. I'm not saying
mm,
whether it's good, bad, ugly, up, down, doesn't matter. I'm talking about a story. But I was writing about a pandemic. I wrote this
mm,
book in 2014,
mm.
and I'm writing about a pandemic that turned the entire world into zombies.
Right.
And no one was leaving their homes and people were scared. And I'm writing this. Call me psychic,
Mm,
call me tapping into the universe's answers.
mm,
You know, if I told you right now that there is going to be a pandemic, we are going to be zombies. Like, to me, it's just you're tapping into the kind of the great soup bowl in the sky, where
yeah.
you're putting your straw. Your mind is putting the straw in the soup bowl, and you're taking a little bit out of the big soup bowl in the sky.
Mm,
I don't know what it is. I don't remember what it looks like. But when you're writing, you are right. And when you're in the zone, dude, when you're
mm,
in the flow of writing, you aren't thinking about anything because the words are coming out of you. And when you write something good is when you write and you'll do an hour, 2 hour session and you'll look back at it and you go, I don't know how the hell I just wrote that.
yes,
I
yes.
don't know. I don't know where that just came from.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you, how I know? Again, it's not ego. I have zero ego. You know how I know I'm doing a good job on Instagram and TikTok and all my channels? I'm looking at the video an hour or two after I posted it. I'm going, I don't even remember. I don't even remember recording what I just wrote.
Yeah, right,
I
right.
don't even remember talking about the illuminated billiards tables in Eyes Wide Shut. I forgot I did that. And then I
Mm,
look at it, I go, oh my God, I can't believe I wrote that. That's when your subconscious takes over. That's
mm,
when you're in the flow and the subtext is all there.
yeah,
That's the point of it, is that when you're writing and you're in the flow, a conscious writer you're not going to connect with anyone if you're writing, you know, I am doing this, the
yeah.
character is doing that. You got to go deep, dude. And the only way to do that is to throw your thoughts on paper and then edit it out later if it's not good.
Yeah, 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 absolutely. Yeah, it's one other thing that I wanted to ask you as well is I think people get a little bit scared of as creators now of what you can and can't talk about. And I heard an interview with Alex Garland, who I'm a big fan of, and Alex Garland was asked, so you know. Specifically about the movie Men, and he said, you're writing about a female lead who's gone through a traumatic experience, and like, is it? Are you allowed to write about that? And his answer was, and I'm curious to know if you agree with this. His answer was, as a writer, he should be allowed to write anything that he wants.
Yeah,
Now,
sure.
there's a responsibility with that. You have to do the research, and you have to, do your best. And after you've done your best, and you've done everything you can to write the best thing you can, you're also allowed to fail because it
Oh,
doesn't, because your
100%.
intentions are true.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I think a lot of people sort of people that I know second guess themselves. Oh, I don't know about that. Oh, I won't write about that. Oh, I've got to stay in my lane. But writing is empathy. It's being in the heads and spaces of other people and trying to find connections. Right?
100%. Writing to me, when you're writing, you're kind of writing to yourself. You're
Mm,
kind of writing what you would like. Listen, if someone's going to ask me to write something on, I don't know, Victorian England, like,
mm,
it's cool. Like, I've studied a little bit about it, but I'm not going to be able to write a 150-page script about Victorian England.
mm,
Now, if I, start researching it and I start learning about it and I start really connecting with the material, I go, I've read a couple, about a dozen books on Victorian England. You have the entire world in your pocket on your phone. You could find
mm,
out anything. You could ask, YouTube anything.
mm.
You could search on YouTube and you're going to be able to get, a tour of what Victorian England looked like, hundreds
Yeah,
of years ago.
yeah.
So, you want to write something that you like, and I'm a big fan of Alex Garland. I thought Warfare was one of the better movies of 2025.
Mm,
Um, I guess the idea is that like write what you connect with, because
Yes.
if you connect with it, other people will too.
Mm.
And you're
Yeah.
not going to feel, you know, don't write what you like.
Mm.
Let me rephrase. Write what interests you.
Yeah.
Don't write what you like. Don't say, I do this and I do that and I'm going to write this because this is what, write what interests you. Because if
Yeah.
you're going to write something that's, listen, I'm interested in Eyes Wide Shut. So
Yeah.
I'm posting about it and I'm finding this community of
Mm.
people who are going, Kubrick was ahead of his time.
Mm.
Stanley Kubrick was a genius, writing about, learning about Jaws and learning about what Spielberg did. Do you have to like sharks to watch Jaws? No, you're going to be going into it entertained.
Mm.
Like I said, there's some things that like I don't connect with, but you're not supposed to hate it.
Yes, yes. Now, we have to. I have to talk to you about Kubrick. It's so funny. Some of my favorite Kubrick films did not connect with me the first time I saw them,
That's
and
pretty typical. That's a pretty typical Kubrick response.
isn't it so fascinating, isn't
It
it?
is. Yes.
And Eyes Wide Shut was a film that I saw when it first came out, and I walked out of it. I didn't dislike it, but I was a bit like, what was that about? And then I reckon the next time I watched it was possibly about 12, 13 years later. I thought, you know what, I should give this another go. And then I was like, I enjoyed that heaps more this time. And then, I watched it again 5 years later. And anyway, I just had rewatched it when I saw your first clip on Instagram, and then I clicked on it, and then I watched all of the every time an Eyes Wide Shut one came up, I went, bam, I'm going to rewatch that. And then rewatched it just recently, like last week, and
Mhm.
read the novella. Like, it's kind
Oh yeah.
of, and now I think it's like I think it's my favorite Kubrick film, and
Yeah.
it's kind of fascinating now where you look at it, and I remember when it first came out, there was this uh, kind of commentary on Nicole Kidman and Tom Cruise, and their performances aren't very good, and they're not really connected, and all this kind
Sure.
of stuff. But when you watch it, I reckon it might be Cruise's best performance, and I reckon Nicole Kidman is outstanding in this
Yeah.
film, and I don't understand what Kubrick does, but it's like you have to let it sit in the back of your head, and then it reveals itself to you slowly. And as you grow older, more and more layers get peeled back until suddenly it's a masterpiece.
I mean, I couldn't have said that any better than you, Justin. Um, I saw. I don't know if my wife is going to watch this, but I saw Eyes Wide Shut on a first date.
Right.
Back in 1999, or maybe I was maybe dating her for a little bit, but like. I was like, oh, I'm a big Stanley Kubrick fan. I've been a Stanley Kubrick fan since I was a kid. I was
Yeah.
one of those weirdos who were like, nah, dude, you gotta watch Kubrick. And everyone's like, what? Like no, I was like, watch 2001 and learn. And everyone's like, I want to go to a bar,
Yeah.
like so I was that I wasn't a nerd. I wasn't a
Yeah.
nerd, but I was like, I appreciated Kubrick way before all my friends did. And there were a few who were like, oh, okay, I get it, I see it. I think we're too distracted. And
Mm,
I think that's even 25 years ago, 99, 20 something years ago. I'm
mm,
terrible at math. Even we were distracted.
mm,
When 9/11 came out, we were distracted. And I think that's the issue of what and I'm not, I don't want to talk conspiracy theory, what they call it, whoever you want, politics, government, religion, what they want us is to
mm,
be distracted. And the idea is that if we're distracted, we're not going to see through here. I'm pointing to my third eye for a reason. We're
mm,
not going to open ourselves up to, huh, Darth Vader was really Da'ath, who on
mm,
the tree of life, who was, the sphere of knowledge. And he couldn't integrate himself, so he went to the dark side, which is the opposite of Da'ath. And
mm,
Da'ath is dark. And you're going, nah, dude, this is a movie about a Jedi, and he's on a farm, bro, and he's gonna use the Force, bro. And there's this little green guy named Yoda, and he's like a Buddha, bro. And it's like Yoda is a form of Yod,
mm.
which is the first Hebrew letter. And again, no religion here, no
Yeah.
religion, no Jewish study lectures. That's not my channel. But Yod is the spark of all creation.
Yes.
Yod,
Yeah.
if you study the Kabbalah, so if you go into a movie wanting to shut your brain off,
Mm,
scroll your phone while the movie's on in the background, you're not going to notice shit.
mm,
But if you sit and you watch it and put the goddamn phone down, not you, I'm not talking
mm.
to you,
Yeah.
put the goddamn phone down
Yeah.
and take in the film for what it's meant to be. Read a book on the deep esoteric meaning of spirituality, on the deep film, the subtext of what Kubrick was trying to show us in Eyes Wide Shut. Read something, learn, research, open your damn eyes, and that's what Kubrick was trying to show us with his magnum opus,
Mm,
Eyes Wide Shut. He was talking to all of us.
mm,
You're keeping your eyes closed, and he wasn't talking about your two physical eyes. He was talking about keeping your third eye open, seeing the truth beneath the surface.
mm,
That's the genius of Kubrick. Spielberg does the same thing. Coppola,
mm,
Scorsese, Nolan,
mm,
they all do these things but we're too distracted to notice it.
mm.
We're
Yes.
too busy. We're too busy going, did you hear what that guy said today? Or
Yeah.
did you hear what happened in this city today? Or did you hear what happened with this person? And all we're doing is fighting with each other when really we should be putting our phones down, putting on a movie and talking about the movie. And
Mm,
that's what my channel is about. And it's not ego with me, dude.
mm,
I got sick of what's been happening around the world. It's horrible. It's
mm,
so easy to get lost down this rabbit hole. Film brings us all together.
mm. Yeah.
That's what movie theaters were. I
Yeah.
was doing a I was at the CEO's office of a major motion picture studio about a year ago, and I wrote a comedy. It was Pokergeist. It's about a newbie poker player has to win the World Series of Poker to get a degenerate gambling ghost off his back. And it's called Pokergeist, and
Yeah.
I wrote that 15 years ago, and it won the grand jury prize in the New York Film Festival years ago. It's one of my biggest sellers, and I was sitting in this CEO's office of this major motion picture studio. My manager, we got the meeting, and the CEO turns to me and he goes, "Do you want this on streaming or do you want this in theaters?" And I said theaters.
Mm,
And my manager jumps in and says, "If it's on streaming, it's okay." So I said, "Of course, it's okay." And he goes, "Why do you want it in theaters?" The CEO looked at me and he goes, "Why do you want it in theaters?" And I said, "Because we need to laugh again together."
mm.
Because
Yes.
because this guy had a news channel on in his office, and I won't tell you which one, but he had a news channel on, and I go, "You see what's on right now?" He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "If you want bad news, just leave the TV on."
Mm,
But I want to laugh.
yeah.
I want to have a group of 200 people together
Mm,
laughing about the antics of what's happening.
yeah.
And he said, "You got it." He said, "That's where we're going to put it."
Yeah. Great.
Yeah. I mean, so
Who?
right now we're waiting for the call. It's been a year,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
yeah.
Things move slowly until they
Oh yeah.
don't.
My grandfather, may he rest in peace, he always said to me, good things come to those who wait.
Yeah.
So I'm waiting.
And you want it in the cinema as well. I think that's part of the reason comedies have struggled a little bit because laughter's infectious. And if people are
Oh yeah.
watching comedies at home, invariably, like it takes a lot for you to laugh by yourself. Whereas if you're with someone and you can hear someone, like one of my fondest memories is sitting in a cinema when the movie Airplane first was released.
Oh my
And
God.
everyone was laughing so hard, and my auntie, who's quite a straight conservative lady, was laughing so much she physically slipped off the chair, which set my mum and I off even more,
Oh
you
my
know.
God.
And so,
Funny. It's really
but
funny.
but when I'm at home, something funny will happen, and I'll sit there and I'll say, "That's funny," but I
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
engage with the laughter. You know,
You
that's something that with Kubrick as well, that I think a lot of his films are much funnier than they're given respect for. Like I think there's scenes in
100%.
2001, like the banality of the conversations. People say they're not really talking about anything. It's like, yeah, and it's funny because they're
They
traveling
are.
through space and
Oh yes, you nailed it. You 100% nailed it. 100%.
yeah,
And Tarantino does that.
yes,
And Spielberg is a genius at that, where they'll take something that's supposed to be really serious
mm,
and they'll make light of it. Why? Just one of my favorite scenes in any Tarantino film is in Django Unchained, where Don Johnson and Jonah Hill, I forget their names, they're the Ku Klux Klan. They're
Mm,
on horses and they have the bags over their heads,
mm.
because they're going to go and go, kill King Schultz and Django. And they have the bags over their heads and they go, who the fuck made these things? I can't see out of it. And I'm sitting in the theater and I'm pissing in my pants. This
Yeah,
is genius because it's not meant to be funny, but he's poking fun
yeah,
at something that's supposed to be serious. And really, 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 really good directors do that.
yeah.
Good authors do that, where they they make something funny. Like
Mm.
Nolan's very good at that, where the Joker, there's a line with the Joker where he's, I just want to make my phone call. And
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
so funny.
Yes.
He's gonna, he just, chaos just erupted.
Yeah,
Batman's going to this street.
yeah,
Gordon's going to this street. And he's like, what do you want? He's like, I just want to make a phone call, right?
yeah,
Because he's in jail. It's
yeah,
so genius. And I
yeah,
know Nolan directed it, but I know I think his brother wrote the script. I think
yeah.
Nolan and his brother wrote the script. I forgot his name.
Jonah.
Jonah, no, I it was a
Yeah,
Joe. I know,
yeah,
yeah. Jonah Nolan wrote it, but like, you don't have to hit people over the heads with
yeah,
comedy.
yeah. That's a
Yeah, go ahead.
sorry. Yeah, that's one of my one of the criticisms of the Dark Knight Rises that drives me insane, where they say Bane's voice is funny, and you go, y
Yeah.
like have you sometimes I think that's a deliberate choice. That's not something that's
Yeah.
happened that they've all gone, oh god, I don't know what to do with this. And I think in one of your clips you talk about the moment that Bane hears the young boy singing at the national anthem, and he says,
What a lovely, lovely voice.
yeah. And it's funny and it's sad and it speaks to what he can never be. And it also, this is what he's about to destroy for everybody. And it's a deliberate choice. There's a reason that it sounds like that.
But in the same way that the Joker could be funny with "I want a phone call," I just want my
Yeah.
phone call. Bane, Bane is a really, really deep, dark character.
Mm,
And the idea, I love that scene where Bane is going, what a lovely, lovely voice.
mm,
Bane's never going to have that voice.
mm,
Bane knows he's about to destroy the American dream
mm,
because he's giving the power back to the people. And it's it's not it's not funny.
mm,
It's scary. You
mm.
go, my God, what would happen if that happened here? So the subtext, I guess that marries what we were talking about before, that like you could have a subtext
Mm,
and I just want my phone call. Phone call
mm,
is figure one word.
mm,
5 words
mm.
can be so deep and funny.
Yeah.
Or what a lovely, lovely voice. 5 words,
Mm,
5 words that can go, oh my God, he's saying an entire book in
yeah.
5 words. He's saying 10,000 things in
Mm,
5 words. He's going to destroy the stadium.
mhm,
He's going to destroy Gotham.
mhm,
He's going to kill people.
mm.
He's going to blow up the American dream, which the American sport, football,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? He's going to destroy everything because he said 5 words. He didn't go on and go, I'm going to kill everyone. That's
Mm,
conscious thinking.
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
conscious saying, I am going to kill this stadium. I am going to kill Gotham. That's a bad writer. That's
Mm,
conscious thinking. What a lovely, lovely voice is talking about Bane's past.
mm.
It's talking about Bane's present, and it's talking about Bane's future. His future is lost.
Yeah.
He knows that he can never be loved again the way he thought he was. I forgot the girl's name, and I just watched it too. She was brilliant in it. Ra's al Ghul's daughter. I
Oh,
forgot her name.
Miranda. Yeah. Yeah.
Miranda.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that. But yeah, Miranda, he knows that he's never going to be loved
Mm,
because he's a freak.
mm.
And just genius, man. Just absolutely genius the way it was, the way Nolan could just say 5 words and there's 5,000 things that you could pick apart. And that's what my channel's about.
Mm,
And
yeah.
I love when people say, it's just a movie, bro.
Well,
When people go,
well,
it's
but what? Yeah, 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 sure. But also, it's much more than that. Like
Of
if you
course.
engage with it, yeah, it's a good thing. There's something interesting about the Dark Knight Rises, which I don't really hear people talk about. But for all the things that the film is doing, I think it's also a movie about grief. And the thing that always stands out to me is the fact that uh, the Joker's never mentioned. He's not even referenced. And Nolan was, as was many people when Heath Ledger died, but he made the choice to honor Ledger and by not recasting the Joker and not even mentioning him. And that void in the film, I think, is permeating a lot of Bruce's storyline, and it's about coming to terms with grief and moving on.
That's a
That,
brilliant dude. You should start your own YouTube channel. You should start your own Instagram channel. You should start doing deep dives into movies.
yeah.
I got to tell you that I was so scared that they were going to bring up anything with the Joker. And
Mm,
to me, I trusted Nolan to not repaint the Mona Lisa.
yes.
What you saw with Heath Ledger as the Joker, you will never see again in film.
Yeah.
And I liked Joaquin as
Mm,
Joker. I thought it was great, and I'm one of the very few who actually really appreciated Folie à Deux.
mm,
Do I don't know how you pronounce it, but I actually really liked the second Joker. I know, people give me shit for that, but I don't really care. I
mm.
saw how we were in the Joker's mental space in
Yeah.
Joker Part 2, that the whole movie was fake.
Yeah.
Harley never existed. This whole thing in his mind he never left Arkham. He
Mm,
was dreaming up this whole thing,
mm.
and Todd Phillips was playing the joke on the audience.
Yeah.
And I thought it was genius. Everyone shit on that movie, and I vehemently disagree with them. But I think Nolan not saying anything about Joker
Mm,
is like saying, well, we have a Mona Lisa, just try and copy and paste a little bit
mm,
of the Mona Lisa. You can't. It's a
mm.
masterpiece. The Mona Lisa looks at you from every corner of the room.
Yeah.
The Mona Lisa is yours.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of the Mona Lisa, is that you could walk in and she's staring at you. She's greeting you. That Joker was your Joker.
Mm,
That
yeah.
Joker meant it was for chaos. One meant it was for a mentally ill person. One meant it was for a spiritual warfare against the soul for Gotham. That Heath Ledger Joker was the Mona Lisa of comic book characters. I'm happy it wasn't in Dark Knight. Bane was really great. I loved
Mm,
Bane. I
yeah.
thought Catwoman was great too. And I'm a sucker for the 80s and 90s Batman too.
Mm, yeah.
Yeah, I love Danny DeVito as Penguin. I
Yeah.
thought that was phenomenal. I have not watched the Colin Farrell show, but I heard it was phenomenal. I heard it was great.
Yeah.
Um, but I guess the idea is that you can't recreate something perfect. So
Yeah.
don't even try.
Yeah.
Start something new.
Yeah.
And again, I liked Joaquin Joker. I thought he was great. I thought Todd Phillips did an amazing job, and I really liked the second one too.
Yeah. Yeah. The character's big enough to have other interpretations. And he did, once again, sometimes what you don't say can be as loud as what you are saying. And I think that kind of
Definitely.
resonates in The Dark Knight Rises. I won't keep you for too much longer, but I wanted to throw something your way because I felt like you've given me so much. I wanted to have something for you that maybe is something new for you. But I'm a
Let's
big
do it.
fan of Tenet. I feel like Tenet is misunderstood. I think Tenet came
Yes.
out at a tough time for the world, and intrinsically, a lot of people went and uh, they didn't know what they wanted, and that was a bit too much for them. And that's also perfectly fine because it was a stressful time. Tenet is often looked at as a on the surface, it's Nolan doing his Bond film through the prism of the things that he enjoys. But
Absolutely.
one of the things that I think he's doing with the film is, there's the Sator square, which is the two-dimensional word square containing the five-word Latin palindrome,
Oh yeah.
which are Sator, Arepo, Tenet, Opera, Rotaz. And all of those things appear in the film. It begins at an opera. Sator is the bad guy. Rotus is the machines that they're going through. But what's interesting is when you look into the Sator square, there's no consensus on the origin or the meaning of it. Some think it's a Roman word puzzle. Some people see it as a Jewish symbol that was embedded with religious symbols. It was later adopted and changed into the shape of the cross for Christians. Germans perceived it as having the ability to extinguish fires, a medieval cure for rabies, etc. And what I think Nolan has done is he has taken the Sator square that has changed shape over many centuries, and he's put it in the shape of cinema.
That's
And
that is so unbelievably brilliant, Justin. And I agree with everything you said.
yeah,
Everything you said. And I agree with you. Was there a question to that? Or I mean,
uh,
like,
I.
I have no follow-up. That was
No, I was just so excited to talk to you. I was like, fuck, I've got to give him something. And that's one of the things
Tenon.
I bang on about.
Tenon could be a perfect film. Tenet could be literally a perfect piece of cinema. The issues were is that it came out during the pandemic.
Mm,
It was way too big for people. It came out. I want to say it like this: like we were buying blockbuster stock,
mm,
and Tenet was Netflix.
right, right.
Okay, that we
Yeah.
were sitting and going Jurassic Park, bro, and Jurassic Park, bro, and Tenet came out, and we didn't have society. I feel didn't have the stomach to. We were too scared about what was happening in the world. It was too frightening. And I think if Tenet came out now
Mm,
or in 2018, 2019, I think we would have been having a whole different conversation
mm,
about the genius. I think it's the same thing with Inception. If
mm,
Inception came out summer of 2020,
mm,
or May of 2020, I think we would go, I don't care. It's his subconscious.
mm. Yeah,
I have to wear a mask to CVS. I don't care about this now.
yeah.
I feel that it was such a bad timing for such a perfect film
Mm,
that people should rewatch Tenet now, but put your phone down.
yeah,
Don't scroll Instagram. It was a different world 5 years ago, 6 years
yeah,
ago.
yeah,
It was a different universe. We were living in a parallel universe 6 years ago,
yeah.
in a different place. So to sit and watch Tenet, it would be like watching 2001.
Mm,
You could leave it on the background and you could be scrolling Insta. I think that Tenet and I don't do Tenet as I have done Tenet. I've done a couple videos on Tenet, not a
mm,
lot, because it doesn't get the love that it deserves,
mm.
where The Godfather does,
Yeah.
or Dark Knight Rises does, or that. I think if Tenet came out a year before or 5 years later, we would be having a totally different conversation about the film because it truly is a brilliant piece of cinema. It's
Mm.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
my opinion.
Yeah, and once again, kind of, hopefully it'll work like these Kubrick films have for some of us, where you go, and then you go, oh, and then it's like, well, this just became my favorite film. Mate, I look, I won't keep you too much longer. I've loved your clips. I've rewatched The Shining this week. I even saw. For the first time ever, because of is it Bilal, Nicholson's character is kind of becoming. That I noticed a transition for the first time where it's his face and it's transitioning into the passageway, and it's like he's wearing a crown. And
Baphomet. I did a deep
Baphomet.
dive again, and again. I love the history of that stuff.
Yeah,
I love the idea that, like, all right, so cool. So like Christianity's been around for a couple thousand years, but what was it like before that? Like,
yeah,
what was going on before, Jesus
yeah,
rose from the dead? Like, what's been going on? It's like, and then you do deep dives into, you know, the Mesopotamian myths
yeah,
and the Canaanites and,
yeah,
the Islamic jinn, and you're going, oh boy,
yeah,
okay, so they didn't teach to this in school or in cinema. They were teaching us, very mainstream, very, cut and dry, cookie cutter. This is what it is. But when you start researching the stuff, you're going, okay, so Baphomet was this thing, right? Okay,
mhm,
Baphomet was this entity that, the Knights Templar worshipped. Okay, okay, all right. So there's a connection here. You're going, holy shit, Kubrick read the same book that I did.
yeah,
Oh my God, it was the up and down. Oh my God, it was as above, so below. Oh my God. And you're going, And these books are thousands of years old.
Yeah.
These books are, you're not reading the new stuff. You're reading these transcriptions of transcriptions, and you're going, there's no way that Kubrick didn't read this,
Yeah.
or Spielberg, or the people that know how to get into your psyche,
Yeah.
or go. We didn't even talk about Carl Jung.
Yes.
Like we didn't even bring. I have a video. We'll end up in a minute. I had a video that in The Shining, in Ullman's office, there's the Red Book, and I have
Yes.
the Red Book. I'm a huge Carl Jung guy,
Yeah.
and I read the Red Book, and it was, I read Abraxas, and the all, and the up and the down, and I'm watching The Shining, and there's a fucking Red Book, and it says the Red Book on the desk, and I'm going, Jesus Christ. And then I look up and I'm like, the Red Book wasn't published until 2009. But then you do even further deep dives and you realize that Kubrick was obsessed with Carl Jung. So
Mm.
what knowledge did Kubrick have that the mainstream didn't? Because then
Mm.
I have these people in my comments going, that didn't come out until 2019 or 2009. It's like, yeah, but there it is.
Yeah.
I'm not making this up. I'm not
Yeah.
forcing a narrative here. I'm
Yeah.
not saying it's the Bible.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's Hamlet.
Yeah.
I'm saying that's the Red Book
Yeah.
in Ullman's office. It's a big, thick Red Book, and it says the Red Book. I can't see if it says C.G. Jung. I can't see it,
Yeah.
but it says the Red Book.
Yeah.
What the hell did Kubrick know
Yeah.
about the psyche, about demons, about your inner fears, your shadows? And people go, nope, it's just a book that says the Red Book. It's not Carl Jung.
Mm.
And I keep telling him, that's not what my channel's about.
Yeah. Yeah.
You might be 100% right, but I might be 100% right. And knowing what I know about
Yeah.
Stanley Kubrick
Yeah.
and his interests and his fears and the symbolism in his films and the books that I've read on the Kabbalah, on ancient Mesopotamian myths, on ancient gods, on demonology, on pandemonium, is a book, and the Matrix is right next to it.
Yeah.
The telltale, everything about the Matrix. You're going, all right, we're not being told the truth. We have to peel back the layers of this film to find those answers, and that's what my channel's about. And it's not about conspiracy theories. It's not.
Yeah.
I believe in a lot of conspiracy theories, and I think a lot of them are stupid.
Yeah.
Guy told some conspiracy theorist came onto my I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You want to talk about comedy? This fucking guy comes onto my comments and he goes, this guy is the is the CEO who was with that girl at the Coldplay concert.
Phenomenal. Oh,
And I was like,
Lord.
I made it, God.
Yes.
I made it. I'm officially a conspiracy theory. They say Joe Rogan is Aleister Crowley. And this guy's going, Andy Cohen. I don't remember who's the guy that got caught with his gumad at the Coldplay show.
Yeah.
He's dancing and they get caught on the cam and they fucking disappear. And this guy's going, Ryan Cohen. Oh man, I kind of want to know now. This guy's saying this guy is 100% the CEO of and I'm like going, I made it, Mom.
Man, wow.
I made it.
Mate.
I'm a conspiracy theory. Thank you, Dad.
Yeah. You've officially become modern day mythology.
I am modern day mythology. And no, I'm not the guy that got caught with his gumad at the Coldplay show. First of all, my wife would kill me if I went to a Coldplay show.
Yeah.
So
before we even get to the
before I would even tell her that I'm with my gumad, and I'm not. I'm very happily married. But if my wife ever found out that I went to a Coldplay show before I could even say the words gumad, I would be dead.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and there's my comedy for you, Justin.
I love it. I love it. Before I let you go, two quick questions. One is, if people were to read their first book that you've written, which one would you suggest?
Oh man, honestly, Monsterland.
Okay.
It is Jurassic Park meets Goonies meets the current hellhole of the world that we're living in today. I prophetized that shit, and I can't believe I was talking about giants before they were talking about giants on TikTok.
Hmm.
The book series Monsterland, I am so proud of what I accomplished in writing it, and I want it to see on the big screen because I feel like it would resonate with the world. That
Hmm.
that who's the real monster here,
Yeah.
right? Is it the werewolves, vampires, and zombies, or is it us?
Yeah. Great.
And that's what my book series is about. But man, if anybody can just go to michaelokon.com, or you can go to Amazon, you go to Michael Oken on Amazon. I write under Michael Oken, Michael Philip Cash, and Michael Samuels on Amazon. All my books are on my website and take you right to Amazon. But yeah, man, this has been an honor, Justin. You've been awesome.
Oh
Great
no,
host, man.
thank you. And one final question: what movie are you looking forward to in 2026?
Disclosure Day and Odyssey.
Yeah.
In that order.
Yeah.
In that order. We have new Spielberg
Yeah.
and we have new Nolan.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to see it twice that weekend.
Yeah.
Each film. I'm probably going to go Friday night and probably Saturday night. I don't know if I'll go Sunday, but I probably will. But we have new Spielberg, we have new Nolan, and you and I are both alive
Yes.
to go to the movies to
Yes.
see new Spielberg. I'm getting the chills to
Yeah.
see new Spielberg and new Nolan. I wish Tarantino would come back. I wish Scorsese would come back. And I'm really excited for what the future of movies can be. And I really feel that I'm help ushering in that love of film again
Yeah.
because I don't see everything on YouTube is about how horrible movies are. Well, I don't want to talk about that anymore. I
No.
want to talk about how good movies are.
No, it's time for the pendulum to start swinging back the other way, and
You said
you are
it,
doing
brother.
brilliant work. Mate, it has been an absolute pleasure to chat to you. You have made some films that I enjoyed even better. You've helped me justify Prometheus to a lot of people, a film that I always come back to, regardless
Oh
of
my
its
God.
having flaws.
Everyone says to me, what's your number one alien film?" I'm like, Prometheus. They're like, "Are you out of your mind? It's aliens." Or I'm like, "Nah, dude, it's Prometheus. It's the Book of Enoch
Yeah,
on screen. Like, how could you not love, and people, it's the dumbest movie." I'm like, "Bro, it's the Book of Enoch. It's Prometheus catching fire and from the gods and
yeah,
bringing it down to humanity. It's a genius movie." And people get mad at me, but I don't give a shit.
yeah. Doesn't matter.
Bring the bring the hate.
Bring it. Guess what we're doing? We're watching Prometheus, and we're having a good time.
Let's go, dude. That's what it's about, man.
Mate, thank you so much for joining us, and
Thank you, Justin.
hopefully chat to you again sometime soon.
Justin, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Wasn't that great? Wasn't Michael just the perfect guest? Really fun. I thoroughly appreciated him letting me just pitch my Tenet theory to him. Good to find someone else out there who is with me, a proper fan of that film, and I buy into his pitch as to why it struggled emotionally with some people at the time. But you know what? As we discussed with Kubrick, sometimes a movie hits you at the wrong point in life, and then when you go back to it, you go, "Oh yeah, that was pretty good," and then you go back to it and you go, "Oh, I'm getting a lot more out of this," and then at some point you go, "Oh damn, that might be my favorite film." So I'm not saying that will happen with Tenet, but give it a chance. Maybe now that you're post that time in life, it'll hit you a little bit harder and you'll enjoy it a little bit more. I will post his website on the socials so you can find him, and maybe some of his books might appeal to you. The 4-part series sounds like it'd be a lot of fun, and Poker Geist has just got a great title as well. So I not only want to check that out, but I also want to, definitely see that made into a film at the cinema. Yes, we all want to see it at the cinema, don't we? All right. That's been a long podcast, hasn't it? So, you know what? Actually, who was it? I apologize if I'm getting this person's name wrong. I should have checked this before I started talking about them. Novak, was it Novak on Facebook? He wrote to me and said, could you do longer podcasts because your podcasts are too short? And I always worry that they go too long. And there's nothing better than having someone say, "Can you do longer stuff?" So I'll have a think about something that I can do longer for those of you who want something that goes a couple of hours rather than what I do now. I'm sure some of you are going, "No, mate, shorten them. Who knows? You can't keep everyone happy, but I was just rapt to have someone ask me to do longer. All right. As always, if you want to sign up for the newsletter, Patreon, all of that stuff, just go to my website, justinhamilton.com.au, and you will find links for stuff there. And yeah, I'll be back next week to, just hang out with you, basically. I hope you're well. I hope everything is going well in your life, and I hope you're feeling excited. I hope you're seeing some things that feel inspirational. I hope someone said something to you that you've never thought before, and that's kind of shifted your head into a place that's a little bit left of center. And they're the things that make life worth living, aren't they? When you have that moment of excitement, when you have that moment of pure joy, where you just go, yeah, this is fantastic. So, all right, look after yourself until then.